Good morning, good morning, good morning. Today, August the 14th, Friday, 2026. So, yesterday we didn't take a trade simply because my model didn't show up. We had a pre-market sweep of those 8 a.m. highs. We did not get a lower time frame IFEG for entry. On my continuation, we didn't tap into an FEG and then get in a lower time frame IFEG inversion to get me into a trade. It just kind of kept pumping up, so it never really showed up. So I didn't take a trade yesterday. Today's a new day. Didn't lose anything. Gained a lot as far as discipline, patience, and just overall expansion in our trading consciousness. So today we have our 8 a.m. highs, our 8 a.m. lows marked out. We had a sweep of the 8 a.m. highs already at this 905 mark. We did sweep the London highs, which was the 8 a.m. high as well, and we're going down. We inverted the 5-minute. So by all means, we are valid for shorts if we were to get into a short. So I have this 5-minute this 5-minute fair value gap here. So it's kind of bouncing off the constant encroachment of this inverted 5-minute that we had. So this was a bearish 5-minute at 8 a.m. and it inverted to the upside. So it's kind of showing some resistance here. If we invert this 5-minute here and continue down, I also have a 1-minute marked out. I might take a jab down to get into these lows, because down here we have London lows, we have New York midnight open, which is a draw, and we have Asia lows. So the market could be seeing a move to the downside. Friday makes sense. People are taking profits and so on and so forth. So let's see. I like to mark out my my yesterday's close for the session, which also is further confluence that we might be looking at a downside here, because this is where the market settled yesterday. So we'll mark that out there, and here we go. So it's looking like it wants to head to the downside. We'll see at open what we get here, because the market could easily give us a bounce at the open before continuing lower. That would be ideal. So if it doesn't invert this 5-minute before the open, and I'd be looking for a manipulation to the upside or a Judas swing, and then we start to inverse some of these 1-minute fair value gaps that were created here at the open, pre-market. So there's a 5-minute here. I like to mark out at least a 5-minute FEGs when I'm marking out pre-market fair value gaps, simply because you'll see a bunch of 1-minute fair value gaps all over the place. So I'll mark out this 5-minute here. If we kind of wick it, meaning no body closures above this at the open, and we come down, I'd be confident that we're looking at some lower prices. So let's see what that does. There we go. So we may see a pop at the open. So let's see how we get here. Got my chat there. I don't want to miss anybody. Trying to give me a shout out. All right, so we got about 7 minutes left into the open. We see a lot of upper wicks here on the 5 minute. Let's see on the 1 hour here. That's a big lower candle, that lower wick on that previous 1 hour candle, which means we have some strong buyers here, where it looks like those institutions kind of absorbed all of that selling, setting up for the longs, and then maybe take profit. So it looks like it may sell back down and kind of do the same thing there. Maybe not as far down, and from my experience, at least maybe halfway before we go up. So we have a 1 hour FEG here. We'll see what the reaction is off of that. Let's see if I can't find something up in here that kind of makes sense. So we have a 1 hour here, even though it's all the way, we got some reaction off of that. So I'll mark that out. I'll mark that out there so we have something to go off of. Let me see those, looking at higher time frame PD arrays. And we have these equal highs up here. So I like to kind of mark that area out there, to give us some sort of targets when there's such a gap between, we have these equal highs and our current key level. I like to mark out some levels there for us. So we got that situated. Where my lines are. I don't know what that's about, but I'll take it. Whatever. All right. So I really don't like taking pre-market trades. We are looking like it wants, after sweeping those 8 a.m. highs, that we may want to get into these lows. I'll wait for a 5-minute inversion here. Got about 2 minutes left. Which kind of lines up into the open. So we did get a nice push down and then a reaction. So it looks like buyers here maybe absorbing some of this selling pressure. Institutions are here ready to buy up. So our next thing here is to see if we sweep these lows. Tap into our key levels here. So we may be also looking maybe for a higher probability trade as a sweep of these lows, maybe into some of these higher time frame FEGs. See if we can get a higher one here. And we got that 1 hour. We have a 1 hour in there. That's a 1 hour. So I have a 1 hour there marked out. So yeah. So at the open, we got a little push to the downside and an immediate push back up. So we may be looking at that. If we don't get a continuation to the upside, so we got a wick up, a wick down here, kind of indecision. You see how the market wicked up and down. So that's why I don't like taking pre-market trades, because we would have gotten to those shorts. We pretty much probably got wicked out if we didn't put our stop all the way up here. So if we continue to respect this 5-minute bearish fair value gap, we did inverse this 5-minute here and then went back up. I'll go ahead and get rid of that. So ES is looking pretty bearish there. Let's go here on the 1 minute. So we're seeing a lot of these. See these two dojis here? So you see that it looks like we're getting some absorption from these sellers. The buyers are absorbing those sales, just kind of like we got here. So buyers went from here and moved up to here, and now we're pushing to the upside. So we still haven't got our first presented 1 minute fair value gap yet that we're looking for. So it's kind of, these wicks are incredible here on the 1 minute. You see how we just getting it up, down, up, down. So it kind of, I don't want to jump into anything like that. So we're stuck, kind of stuck in the middle of this range here. I'm gonna go over here to the 2 minute, see what we're looking at. Yeah. So we're above VWAP, but we're kind of hanging below here. So it looks like we may sweep those lows. But I want to sweep those lows, maybe close that gap, tap into that 1 hour FEG, and then maybe look for something to the upside. Let's see, maybe if we get a retest of that 1 minute. Looks like we may be approaching our first presented fair value gap here. I don't see why we wouldn't get all the way down and sweep them lows, close that gap, and tap into that 1 hour FEG. But again, the buys may be more of a higher probability trade here. So we're just going to stick with our program. We're going to wait for a sweep. Even though we did sweep these highs pre-market, we'll see what we do at the open. We sweep these lows. So we swept the lows, closed the gap, tapped into that 1 hour FEG. So I was looking to see if we had any 4 hour FEGs down here. We don't. We do have our first presented fair value gap here. So now we're gonna look. I'm gonna tentatively look for some longs here. Let's see if we can't get back up above those lows. We do have New York midnight open down here at the bottom. So we also have a 15-minute FEG in there as well. So if at that first 15-minute candle we invert that 15-minute, I'd be looking maybe for a continuation to the downside to hit these lows, New York open and Asia. So for a continuation to the downside, looking for some type of pullback. So we get some sort of pullback in here. I may be trying to jump into these lows. We got London low sitting there as a potential draw. getting a slight pullback here. And we have New York open. So we're coming back up to retest. We got this 1 minute gap here. So this is the plan I'm looking for within the strategy. We swept 8 a.m. lows. We've hit some key levels. We still have some levels here. We hit London lows as a key level. So now I'm just looking for a meaningful inversion on a lower time frame. Ideally, this first presented fair value gap. If we can invert that, I'd be willing to get into a long here. But right here we have these wicks here. That's a lot of resistance pushing in. So we got a minute left on it. We hit consummate encroachment of that first presented fair value gap. If we reject off of there and continue down, we may be looking for some so let's see. It's still respecting that first presented. I marked out a 1 minute that was created on the way up here. So we invert that. That would be sort of an indication that we're going to be headed down. Don't want to jump in too early here. It's got about 10 minutes into that 950 macro. It looks like it wants to head down after rejecting off that first presented fair value gap. So if we invert this 1 minute here, I'd be interested in some shorts. Kind of trap some longs there, it looks like. So let's see if the market was trying to trap those longs. Now we're going to come down and try to get these stop losses that are here, or people that went long here, which would have made sense to go long. But let's see. So let's get this inversion here and see if we can't really get into a long. About 10 seconds left. You see how that wick is just inside that first presented. So the more times it wicks inside there, once we get a body outside, that's good indication for me to go long. We also respected this 1 minute here. So if we invert below here, that's also a good indication for me to go short. So either way, we're going to jump into one of these. We're just going to be a little bit patient here. Got about a minute. So it looks like we may invert that there. Boom. Let's see if we get a small retracement. We're going to jump into these buys here.
Order filled. Order filled. Order filled.
So I didn't get to put it in on my Trade-Evade, but this is tentatively where we are here as an entry here. May try to get up into it here. 30-12. So I am in my Trade-Evade account. We got in here. We are up. I didn't get to put those buys in there because price is just moving too quickly. I wanted to make sure we got in on our Trade-Evade account there. So that's where we are. So let's see if we can't get that going there. 280. We're getting a nice push to the upside as we hit those 8 a.m. highs, going back up to those highs.
Stock filled.
All right, so I pulled my stop loss up on my Trade-Evade account. It trailed me out there. I'll look for a re-entry. Locked in about $145 there on the pullback. Probably pulled it up a little bit too early, but you can see that draw. Look at that nice pullback there. I'll look for a re-entry. Let's see if we go back down and retest. Retest that first presented. Tap this in here on our TradingView account. I haven't taken this yet on my Trade-Evade account, but we're in it there. So let's see, we're approaching that 950 macro. Looks like it did create a lower high overall, so we'll see if it continues to respect that first presented fair value gap to continue higher. I see a nice body close above that 200 SMA. I want to see a break of those highs there. Let's see if we can get a break of those highs.
Order filled.
So now, as though I'm valid for some longs here, I'm kind of scalping on my Trade Evade account. Up about 200 bucks so far, going into those 8 a.m. highs. Now that we're approaching our 950 macro, I want to see where we are. So as we can see, it tapped us in on that retest of the first presented fair value gap, and we're looking good. I think we're going to see higher prices in this session. So we hit our first target here as a key level that I marked out. So we've got a lot of equal highs here, which is good draw on liquidity. This is a good draw that we like to see. So we got a nice pullback. And you see, in this volatile market, just one 1 minute candle can give us 35 points, 40 points in one direction in less than 30 seconds. So if you're trailing your draw, if you're trailing your stop losses, and you know, you may get tagged out, but make sure you're trailing into profit. I don't believe in that break even, all that, because all that work you did, it tags you break even, then you're done. If it's going to tag you out break even, you want to get back in. So we may be coming down here, creating a higher low. So we have a low here. If it respects this low and gets us back up, great. And then shoot for these equal highs. It may do this 1 or 2 more times to create more equal highs. I don't see how this would be an attractive short for anybody that wanted to go short, but believe me, there were people that went short here as they consider this a resistance zone. So people support and resistance traders may have went short here, and they're probably feeling good. But if I was them, I'd take profit now and not wait for that 40.30-second candle to shoot back up and wick you out. Because it seems like the algorithm's getting fancy here, because it's not giving people a lot of time to get in and get out of these trades. So it's continued to respect this first presented fair value gap as it came all the way down to our entry. And if we would have went up and pulled the break even, we would have been out by now. We could have trailed up and stopped out in profit, maybe get back in a better position as it continues to pull down. But I believe we're going to continue to the upside here to play on those equal highs.
Order filled.
So it looks like sellers are absorbing some of that buying pressure. But I want to see it pop up, at least to get up into here. But those equal highs are a good draw on liquidity. They were starting to see some hesitation to pop those highs there. There's a little fight going on there. So we probably want to wait and see as we get into this 950 macro which side price wants to play on here. I really don't like that hesitation. It's not good if we're going long here. We are respecting that first presented fair value gap. However, it could take just one pop to the downside to put us in an awkward position. The ES is looking a little bit stronger than NQ right now. Maybe NQ will follow suit. I believe those Michigan numbers are coming out. That would give us a nice pop. Once those numbers tend to affect the market pretty drastically. So I'm currently in a long scalp here on my TraderVate account, hoping to pop this area here. We've maintained our position on our TradingView account for visual purpose. We're going to hold it out there. Overall, I believe we're going to see higher prices. But as of right now, short term, I'm looking for a pop of those session highs right there. That first presented fair value gap is continuing to hold up. I just don't like the constant retest of that area. Of course, the more times it hit it, it seems like the weaker it gets. Hopefully we got some institutional buyers there just absorbing those sales so that they can gear up for a long. That's the consensus here. We are creating some low resistance liquidity here as we create that trend line, so we can pop up and hit each one of those liquidity spots there at those wicks. So we just got to be patient. Trust our strategy and the overall, I guess, probability that the long is the higher probability. Alright, so I may just on my TraderVate account try to cut this and look for a better position. Looks like it's pushing down. It did shoot down for a quick wick, absorb those cells and pop back up. really don't like all these wicks. So right now price is just it's not respecting anything on the NQ as far as our PD arrays. So I'm more or less looking at the structure of these candles and what it's actually doing. So as it's pushing down, I see buyers absorbing those sells, scaring out a lot of it's kind of spooking a lot of people that are in longs right now because it keeps pushing down. But from what I can see, those bottom wicks, it's telling me there's some big institutional buyers down there, and they need liquidity in order for a big move to the upside. So as those sells continue down, and then you'll see a quick wick up, those are institutions absorbing those sells, gearing up for those longs. And it's absorbing liquidity, and hopefully that's what we're seeing, and then it'll pop. We'll see that pop to the upside that we've been looking for. So that's what I'm holding out for. That's what we're going with here. So we'll see. We'll see what we're doing. As we see these wicks here, those sells are coming down. We have big institutional buyers here absorbing those sells, building liquidity, building long positions. So every time it comes down here, they buy it. They come in here, they're buying it. And eventually, these guys will run out of steam, and then it'll drive price to the upside with those buys. So we got this new 1 hour candle coming in. It's already created a bottom wick there. So we got a bottom wick on this 1 hour. Didn't quite get into 50% of that prior candle's wick, which is good. It traded down into it, didn't touch it. We had a bottom wick on this new 1 hour. Now we're pushing up. So we just kind of want to continue to see more upside as we get further into this 1 hour candle and approaching that 10-10 macro. That's what we're trying to see here. So we'll get up into there and get into these prior day highs, 8 a.m. highs, and onward. So let's hold out here. Let's see if those institutional buyers overpowered, and their money was a little bit longer than those ones, getting into those sells. As they sold, they were buying. These guys are selling, they're buying. They're selling, they're buying. So there's big institutional buyers down here, buying, big wick there, buying, wick there. So they're continuing to selling off, and these guys are buying, but I think their money's pretty long, building up these long positions. So as they're finished selling off, they want to buy and drive price higher. buy down here, drive price high, and then when we get up into this 1 hour inefficiency, maybe they're going to sell, to recoup a lot of their investment. But they're pretty heavily invested here. So me personally, if I was an institutional investor, I've invested a lot of money here, buying up these sells, and the higher it gets in, the higher they're buying, means the more of a position they're getting. So as these wicks get shorter up here, it looks like their investment gets more. So I wouldn't give up on my investment. My money's longer than these guys up here, so I need to buy as much as I can because I put in a big position so I can drive price up. We want to drive price up, and then once it gets up to a certain point, whatever number that they have set, they're going to sell and recoup their their investment at a profit. So that makes sense. I mean, I'm not a super business mogul, but I've been doing this long enough to understand, buy low, sell high. That's business 101. Started in grade school when I was buying candy bars at 50 cents and selling them for $1. That's just something we do. Buy low, sell high. So we're getting into that area where they were selling off earlier. So let's see if we can push up a little bit past that area. So it's doing exactly what we wanted to here. I'm pushing up. We held on. So it looks like my novice business theory is in effect worked. And I feel good because I tune into a lot of streamers here that I like to listen to because they're successful. They're moderately successful. They've pulled millions of dollars out the market. I've yet to pull millions of dollars out the market. But at the same time, I feel like my knowledge base is equal to, if not more than theirs, and the strategy more effective. The only thing is they've overcome their money blocks. So meaning those ones that you see are success doesn't mean that just because they are $1 million traders or they're 6-figure traders that they haven't that they're better as far as strategy or knowledge. It just means that they've overcome a certain conscious level when it comes to money. So when you haven't had a lot for a period of time, when you tend to see your money go down a certain level, you panic and you get out, or you become optimistic and think it's going to turn around when there's no way humanly possible that this trade is going to turn around if you know market structure. Or two, when you get into profit and you see a little bit of money, you want to protect it, so you grab it and you go, and leaving money on the table. There's nothing wrong with see money, take money. I live by that principle, but also market structure as well. So that being said, I feel like my knowledge base and my strategy and my skill is at that level of those $1 million traders, if not higher, because today speaking, I've been following some of the streamers, in my ear as I listen to them, and they've got stopped out here. They got stopped out, and for a loss. We haven't moved our stop loss or our take profit. We've been in this trade here on TradeWay. We came in not at the initial entry, but I set as a limit here a buy limit. It came down, retested our first presented fair value gap, wicked us in, and got up. My business philosophy here, there's institutional buyers down here, and they're building up for a long position, a big long position. So they're buying here. They started off buying here. Every time, these are hour candles. Every time these wicks get a little higher, they buy here. Now they're buying here. And these are sellers. So every time someone sells, they're buying. These guys sell, they're buying, sell, they're buying, sell, they're buying. So no doubt at those institutional levels, maybe they wanted to, now they're in a profit. They bought down here, they're buying here, buying here. Price gets up here, now they're selling up here. Institutional, same institutional buyers that were down here sell down here, boom, until price gets lower. Then they buy it up lower. They selling high, buying low. So what happens? It goes back up. They sell here. It comes back down. Now they're buying here. Drives price up. Sellers are coming down. Now they're buying up here, pushing price up. And in my opinion, as the hour goes on, they'll buy here and buy here. So let's go down. Let's go down to the 30 minute and see. 15 minute. Let's see. So you can see they're buying here, buying up here, buying here, buying here. And then there's no bottom wick. So they're not really buying. Price goes up. They let the price go up. Then they're selling. Now they want to recoup some of that. They're recouping some of that selling. So then they start buying again down here. Buying here, buying here. And it gets up here. They sell. Go down here. There's no wick down there. So what does that tell me? Now they're starting to sell. They're going to sell, and then when it gets to a certain level, they'll buy. It'll let it go down. Then they'll buy. They'll buy. But this area here is an area of that they're selling at. And I believe these institutional buyers, the same one that are buying here, are selling here and letting the price go down. Then they're buying again, driving it up, selling again. But each time they're making a profit. So are they gearing up for a big long position? Friday, I believe they're just building just long enough to sell and take profits. Will they break this area? Possibly. Hit this inefficiency, then sell off for the rest of the day. It's Friday. People want to cash their checks and move on with the rest of the day. Right now, it's getting below that first presented fair value gap. So what that tells me is hitting this area and then going lower. If it doesn't start to build some structure to the upside, meaning this is a lower high. If we start to see more lower highs and a break of these lows, then that's bearish to me. Right now, this is a higher low once we break this high. So I'm looking to see if we break this high. If we don't break this high, what I'll do is I'll move my take profit down to the area where I see they're selling at, and we'll go ahead and cut this trade at a profit. Wait for some bodies above this 8 a.m. high, and then look for further long positions. But right now, it looks like what they're doing is buying to a certain level and then selling off. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring us down to this area where they've been selling off at, and lock in some profits here on this TradingView account. Boom. What I'm going to do here, I don't want to bring my stop up here because that's not, it's quite possible we could still break this, still have a higher low, and then break this. But until we break this low isn't protected. This is the really protected low here. That's why I didn't want to go all the way down there, so I kind of brung it here. If I bring it here, it'll save us a couple bucks, but it's still not protected. So I'd rather keep our stop there. It's not, let's see, it's still below a 1-to-1 risk, but technically I wouldn't let it hit the stop loss. We'd probably, if it starts to go below this 8 a.m. low, I'd cut it. So let's bring it here. So I'd cut it. I'd probably cut it there anyway. And let's make this a solid 1-to-1. It's a 1.4 on our trading view. So we're risking 480 to gain 630. It's not a real protected loss, stop loss there, but it seems to have been holding up so far. And we have VWAP here. So it looks like they're selling off lower and lower each time. I want to try to get up here. I'm going to try and get up here to where this bodied at. It looks like for the past few minutes here, it's just been selling off and selling off. So if we get up here again, let me just go ahead and cut that trade. And we're going to look for a better confirmation for longs to the upside. So hopefully it'll hold us out here. And this is just, you know, getting out, try to get out in a profit and get us back into a better position when we get more of a confirmation of where it wants to go. It looks like they're finished selling off in this range here. So hopefully we'll get a nice little further pop to hit these you know, equal highs here before it wants to head down. But if not, it is what it is. Again, this is the trading view account. This is basically just forward testing. But I just wanted to cut our risk, and then if we get into profit, gain some profits here. So hopefully we'll get another pop above our entry, and we'll get out at a profit. I don't foresee price going much higher than it has here. So it looks like we may be gearing up for some sells. Again, it's Friday. I think, you know, they're going to end up cashing out and getting their Friday. So there it is. So it stopped us out there on that, and that's because we brought our stop loss up. Again, that wasn't a protected low by any means. It's starting to body below our first presented fair value gap, so we cut our losses there. We were up pretty good on that, but this is just the trading view account. Here on my Trade of 8 account, we locked in some pretty good gains. We're up about 280 here on our Trade of 8 account. We took those I took the same longs as we did here. I just didn't aim as high. So, and you know, kind of scalped it. But as you can see, we cut our loss there. So it's not a loss, we just cut our loss because we were going for higher prices there. And again, this is my trading view account, so I do this for visual purposes. And also, if it did break out above here, we would have been looking good. We still could see higher prices, but we do have some lower targets here with midnight open and Asia. So we did break those 8 a.m. highs at pre-market, came down and hit those lows. We waited till the open to get into a trade. This is our first presented. It's starting to, we inversed our first presented fair value gap. Now we're coming down and bodying below it. So now we're looking for some inversions to the downside to show us that price is going to continue down. This is a 1 minute FEG here. So we should be seeing some lows here, and we could go down to midnight. So I wanted to get a tap of that fair value gap up there. It doesn't look like it wants to get me in there. So we'll get a stop. We'll get a sell stop here. If it breaks past London, maybe we'll get back up in here for this FEG. We got about 20 seconds left. Maybe half the body there. So we'll put a limit there. And we'll put our stop loss there. Let's see. So it tagged us in there. If it gets back up here, we'll add to it. So I think we'll get down to that New York Open. So it tagged us in our trading view account. God, I hate foggy glasses, man. I can never seem to get these glasses where they're not smeared and fogged. I don't know if it's my rag. I don't know what it is. The more I wipe, the more smeared it gets. And I think it may be the oil from my hands on the rag. Either way, it sucks. Alright. So, no doubt we'll probably get to midnight open there. So we got a nice top wick on that 5-minute candle. And so we touched midnight open. I took a small scalp on my TradeAvate account. We're gonna keep our take profit here at Asia low as a draw. We hit midnight open, which was a nice draw on liquidity. So just to keep you up to par here, this is my TradeAvate account. This is our 50K Lucid. So on the day we're up 390 on the day here after no trade yesterday. Feeling good about our discipline and our growth as a trader. So we're doing good here. So we'll keep our take profit area where it is on my TradingView account. So I did go up in here just in case we tagged in, so I'm going to get rid of that. I do believe on the bigger play after we sweep this liquidity here that will go up possibly to see higher prices. But either way, the shorts was a big play in my opinion. We took some longs earlier, cashed in on some longs. Right now it's starting to deliver to the downside. And I do this to improve my psychology as well. This is my TradingView account. These are numbers. Of course there's no real skin in the game here. On my TradeAvate account, I'll tend to get in and out of trades according to my strategy. Right now shorts are valid, so I am valid in taking shorts, but it's at my discretion when I get in those shorts and out of those shorts. And right now I'm still working on my psychology, so when I see some profit number that I like on my 50K Lucid account, I'll go ahead and lock that profit in. As opposed to the TradingView account, I see the profit, I see it's nice, I like the number. This is a bigger account. This is a 100. It started off at 100,000. We're up about 43,000 on this account, but so we can risk a little bit more. These are minis as opposed to micros that I take on my 50K Lucid. So I'm looking to stay in the trade even during pullbacks, so that 500 may turn into 100, and to just get my psychology down, I'll withstand that. Me visually seeing that gets embedded into my subconscious, so now I'm used to those numbers fluctuating, but what we're looking at is the overall structure. I'm seeing that sellers are here, so when it goes up they're selling off, and all those institutional buyers that made their profits, it looks like they're selling off and taking profit. So what we're going to do is we're going to keep our take profit here at our draw, which is Asia low at the 3124 area, and sometimes I'll just scalp off of that. So it looks like we may hit that 3124 as we get close. So for most, this is a big draw. There's a big draw on liquidity here, these relative equal lows. And after a sweep of this, we may see a push to the upside. So some people are buying in to these sells, gearing up for some longs, or other traders are selling in to this liquidity and will take profit at this area here, where others are banking on an entry for some longs. So it all depends on how you trade it, what your strategy is. So if you're long or short, you could be profitable. It is a win. It's just what's your strategy, what's your plan, and how's your execution. So what'll tell here? What'll tell the story as we go into this draw on liquidity here, Asia? Will we hit this before that 1050 macro? It'll deliver us down to this Asia low, and then within that 1050 macro, will price begin to deliver us to the upside? As we see here on this 5 minute, you see this big doji candle here, this wick here. So ones that were buying into these sells, gearing up for a long, this is what they're looking for. So there we go as we move down into those lows. Look at that push up. Retest midnight open. So we just stopped short of that Asia low. Is this the pullback before that draw? So I like to see it hit that Asia low. It's kind of leaving it hanging, which it wouldn't make sense. Just leave it. Go ahead and sweep that and then go on higher. That's what I like to see here. So it looks like it might just leave us hanging there at Asia low.
Order filled. Order filled. Order filled. Order filled.
So I'm going to see if this is the reversal to the upside. So it looks like we kind of left Asia hanging. I don't see why we would just leave Asia hanging. We got some nice draw and liquidity there. We have some relative equal lows here. So it could be it's just trying to spook us out of those shorts. So we could still see a sweep of that Asia low. I'm concentrating pretty hard here, so you have to excuse my silence. But if we get a sweep of that Asia, that's what I'm looking for. So I'm looking for a little bit more confirmation that we're going to continue to the downside here. I want to scalp this on my TraderVid account to those lows. However, I'm being very cautious here. Very cautious. I don't like that bottom wick on the 5-minute. Yeah, so we're getting looks like we got some buyers. Buyers are here now, absorbing those sells. Would allow us to go down into Asia low and get those stops, get that liquidity with these relative equal lows here. That's what we're trying to see now. That's what I'm looking for to scalp into on my TraderVid account. It looks like ES may be the better play as far as getting into those lows. But I just like NQ because of the volatility that it has. So we're approaching that 1050 macro. This will tell if we're going to deliver that price to the downside there. This is our 1 hour candle. kind of created a wick here with a rejection there. There's no real higher time frame fair value gaps within here to bounce off of. We got New York open, which we're looking at as a resistance area here as it retests that area and bounce off. We're kind of hanging out that prior 15-minute candle, kind of bodied above that New York open. So I want to see if they're going to flush it here at this 1050 macro. So I may be looking to take a jab into those lows. It's kind of been hanging around there. If it was going to break out, it would have done it, I believe. We have those relative equal lows, and Asia low there is a nice draw. So sometimes you just got to play, play the market's game. It's trying to, it's faking to the upside constantly. We got kind of a move. We got a move here where it looked like we were going into some longs. It broke here, broke this bearish candle here, and we're going up on this 5 minutes. So I'm no doubt there were a lot of longs coming in here. Then it started to hold up right around this area here, right around that London low. It started to hold up, and now it's kind of hesitating. So let's see if the algorithm at the 1050 mark will deliver us lower, sweep that liquidity, grab what it needs, and then get above, go on up and hit all these equal highs up here. So that's the plan for right now. I'm going to try to scalp into those lows on my TraderVid account. We're holding our short position here on our trading view, currently up about 450 on this short here. But as it is, if you don't know what you're looking for, you could get frustrated and could get drawn into the wrong play. But we have a plan. We know what we're looking for. We have our time and space is the key here. So the time being 1050 macro, the space that we're looking for, or the position we're looking for, are these lows, this Asia low and these relative equal lows here being swept before continuing to the upside. So kind of boom, boom. That's what we're looking for. That's the plan. But if it breaks higher, if we start to get body above that 176 area, we don't want to see that. We'll probably try to get out of that trade. Matter of fact, what I'm going to do is, just to bring this down in here, we're going to drag our stop loss into there just to see if that's the plan. We'll get on out of there at a small profit. If it goes with our plan A, we're gonna keep our position, our short position here, and I'll scalp into those lows on my TraderVid account. We got about 30 seconds till we hit that 1050 macro. Kind of want to see a break below 139. So if I get a break below here, I'll scalp that little area. This little boom here. So when I scalp, I'll go heavy here for about 14-15 points from here to here. We'll go heavy on our TraderVid account for a small scalp. and that'll be our play right there. I just need a break below that line there for a confirmation on the 1 minute. So I'll go down to the 1 minute to show you what that looks like. So that's what I'm looking at here. Looking for a break below here. So I'm looking for a break below there so I could scalp that area from here to here. Actually, that's about 30 points. Well, let me make sure what it didn't look like. Alright, so from here to here, it's about 20 points. So we get a break below that line. I'll scalp from here to here, TradingView account, and look for prices, higher prices to the upside. But I want to believe that they're going to sweep these equal lows, Asia low, before going to the upside. So it looks like it's setting up to go higher. I don't want to see a break of this high here before we go higher. I want to see prices stay below this high here. I want to see it stay below this area here. Let's see if we can get a bounce off of that moving average, that 8 moving average there, and then get a flush down into those lows. Got about 30 seconds left in this candle. Got about 6 minutes left into our new hourly candle. You see a nice rejection off of that moving average. So I want to see a nice push to the downside. It's a new 1 minute candle. Kind of broke below that line there. I want to see a nice body close below these wicks here. We did wick below it, but that shows an indication.
filled.
Let's see if this is the push we're looking for as we approach that new hourly. See if we can't get that sweep before that hour, that new hourly candle opens. Let's see if we can't get that push to the downside. Sweep those relative equal lows in Asia. The higher probability scalp is that short to that Asia low and those relative equal lows before going higher. So let's just see if price will deliver us to the downside. It's kind of chopping around, but that's what it does. It'll push people out of positions. Get you emotional. You wanna trade responsibly, control losses, but you wanna stick with your higher probability trades and execute your strategy and create a high probability plan for an execution of that strategy. So as of now, I'm trying to short my TradeEvade account into those lows. We've been holding this short on our TradingView account, waiting at take profit at Asia low. So we're approaching that new hourly. Generally what it'll do is that new hourly candle will open and create a bottom wick before heading up. So that's what we're banking on now. So let's see if we can't get that push to the downside. We got about 1 minute left. So let's get that. It's starting to push down before that hourly candle. So hopefully that new hourly will open below this current candle. So we got this hourly candle here. So hopefully we'll get down and sweep first. Maybe it'll push down before we get there, before that hourly candle. There we go. So I scalped into that Asia low there. We hit our take profit here on our TradingView account, and that's pretty much what we have there. We may see a little bit of a lower push at the open of this new hourly. We got a small wick there, but it looks like it may want to push us up, maybe to retest this line here. See if it retests this line here and then get us down. So holding that trade here was very profitable. It was the good thing to do. So again, working on our psychology, that's what we're looking to do. You're looking at, trust the process, rely on our strategy, execute high probability trades, and have the psychology and the mental bandwidth to not exit those trades too early or enter those trades too early. So As you can see, we're waiting for that 950 macro for the algorithm to sweep these lows, and that's exactly what it did. So now what we're probably going to see, if the market wants to go higher, it can, or we could see a continuation lower to the downside as Capital Preservation Friday is in effect, and everybody wants to go to the weekend with some profits. So being as though we swept these Asia lows already, I'll get that. If we do see higher prices, probably want to see this area here, get it inversed to possibly get into some longs. So let's see here at the 3100 area. That's our neck. That's our psychological level there. At that 3100 area there. Let's see if we can get a sweep down into that. Again, we're looking for that. A push down into there will create that bottom wick on the hourly before going higher. Got a tall top wick already on that hourly candle. We'll see if it's starting to get a bottom wick as well. So that 3100 is also a daily or a 4-hour FEG it'd be tapping into, so that makes sense. Higher time frame FEG, and then look for that reversal to the upside. So will we get that 3100 hit, tap into that 4-hour FEG, and then see some sort of reversal to the upside for our PM session? Makes sense. It's a good plan. It's a good strategy. We hit mostly all of our targets on the lower end. There's nothing left. Well, there's plenty left down there, but if the market wants to go higher, that's definitely the way to go. We have our prior day lows down here. We also have our weekly lows, and we also have I believe a daily FEG here. So, but first it would have to make it past all of this 4-hour fair value gap. My throat gets a little scratchy there. Not used to doing all this talking. Right now I'm seeing a lot of indecision there. We got about 4 minutes left to that 11:10, the end of that 10:50 macro, before we see some type of commitment here. Starting to see a little push to the upside there. Looking for some sort of area we can look at as a resistance. Right now, all we have is that prior area we were looking to break. We have Asia low there. So will it come up and retest those lows here before heading down? Looks like it wants to tap into those lows. I kind of want to scalp into it, but right now the RR really isn't where I want it to be, even though it looks like it may hit it. So it kind of tapped right into it. Didn't fully hit it. We did tap into that 4 hour. There's also a 1 hour FEG where it's been into for quite some time. Marked out this 4 hour here. So we tapped into that 4 hour there. It looks like it wants to hit it a little bit more. We tapped into that 4 hour. I'm gonna mark out this 1 hour. Let's mark out that 1 hour. So I just wanted to see how deep we were into that inefficiency on the 1 hour. We have consummate encroachment there. There's that push down. A push down below that 3100, and then an immediate rejection to the upside. Just looking for any other. We have a 15-minute inefficiency. All these inefficiencies are lining up. Just want to see which one hits consummate encroachment first, and that's that 15-minute there. So 15-minute hit consummate encroachment there. That's what I was looking for. Got about a minute left into this new 15-minute candle. See if we body above it or below it. Consummate encroachment of this 15-minute fair value gap. That kind of like narrows it up. So we have a 4 hour, a 1 hour, and a 15. I wouldn't imagine if we have a 5 as well. We do. I'm just kind of seeing how all these line up on each other. So the 5 and the 15 are pretty similar. We do have here on the 5. So we're in the upper quadrant of the 5-minute fair value gap, and we may touch down into consummate encroachment before heading up. $30.86. Yeah, so it's tapped right into consummate encroachment, that 5-minute. I want to see where we close at on the 15. We've got about 30 seconds left on the 15. And if we body below consummate encroachment of this 15-minute fair value gap, we could see lower prices down into at least consummate encroachment of the 1 hour, which is the 023.30, 023. So we did body below on the 15, kind of a small pullback. Didn't really create too many inefficiencies on the 1 minute. We have this 1 minute inefficiency here. We could look at for a rejection. Start to reject off that 8 MA. So now what I'm looking at, since we body below that 15-minute consummate encroachment on its fair value gap, I'm looking at lower prices, seeing if it traded back up into this 1 minute bearish inefficiency here. This is our 5-minute consummate encroachment of this fair value gap, and I'm looking to see if we get down into this 1 hour consummate encroachment fair value gap. So if we start to body below this one here, this 5-minute, so we body below the 15, small retracement here and rejection. We could see a pullback all the way up to those Asia lows. even maybe surpass it just a little bit before going back down. So it's all about the time as well. If you're planning on getting into any continuation shorts to the downside. So we still are in sort of this range here. Sorry, in premium. So a short would be valid. Then we start to get down into constant encroachment this 1 hour into our OT block here, which would be prime territory for a reversal, which lines up with these highs here that were broken, which makes sense. So everything's starting to line up. As far as shorts right now, we're in a premium. We body below our 15-minute consummate encroachment of that 15-minute fair value gap. We're the 5-minute lines up as well as we hit consummate encroachment of this 5-minute fair value gap. We see some rejection off of this 1-minute bearish inefficiency that was created on the way down here, which is this red mark here, this red bar. And if we start to body below these lows here, and this dotted line is 5-minute consummate encroachment of this 5-minute fair value gap, maybe we could see lower prices all the way down to here into this 1 hour consummate encroachment area of its fair value gap, which lines up with our OTE reversal area on our premium and discount. But price is wicky. It's yanking back and forth, up and down. So no doubt we've trapped some shorts right there. Is it going to go long? So we're seeing wicks on both top and bottom of these areas. So will we sweep those lows? Will we start to body below that 5-minute? Sweep those lows and see some bodies below.
Order filled. Order filled.
Yeah, so we did get a nice push below there. We got about 3 minutes left in that 5-minute candle. Looks like we're getting a nice flush to the downside there. But you got to be careful around this area because it could yank us back up. And that was a nice flush to the bottom there. That is a nice flush to the bottom. So we may see, being as though it looks like we will body below that 5 minute, it looks like we could see price head on down to the consummate encroachment of that 1 hour. Our next level is that 30.054. So that next level we're aiming for is that 30.054 area.
Order filled. Order filled.
Got a small scalp there on my Trade of 8. I'm going to go ahead and rest that Trade of 8 account because we kind of took a up and down on that. Currently, we were up 300 some odd dollars, got into a little hole. We're back up to around about 220. I'm going to go ahead and rest that account on a Friday, walk into my weekend, some nice profits. But be as it may, we took some nice trades here on our Trading View account. I will pull up our execution marks so you could see what we actually did here. It's a little crowded on here, but so as you can see, we took a sell here, and we bought it here. So we sold at the, well, this is our buy. This is our first buy. My mistake. So we bought here in the beginning at the open. We were going for longs, and the same thing we did on the Trading View account, Trade of 8 account. So we bought in at 32.32. We sold at 32.07 for about a 10-point move. Wasn't bad. Then we came down here. We got into a short. This was our short here at the 31.79, and we hit our TP at the 31.24 for a, let's see, 31.79. $31.79 to $31.24. So we got that was about a 54-point move, 55-point move there. So we did pretty good there on our trades. That was our Trading View account. We got here on our 50K Lucid account, and just to check the P&L, we're up about 220 on the day. We were up a lot more. We took a small loss. Looking for longs, seeing that the market didn't want to give it to us. Reevaluated, reassessed, and we got into some shorts and scalped our way out into a profit of about 220 on our TraderVate 50K Lucid account. So what that'll do is that'll wrap it up for us for this session. We'll walk in to our weekend with some nice small profits there. Looking to get into the funded portion of this account, not far away. So we'll start the new week off with about 1,300 bucks to our funded, which is pretty manageable. We can get there. Just got to be patient and persistent, and we will get there. So Kendra Jones 8381. I did hit the midnight open. Thank you very much. That just depends on all what you mean. The midnight open or the midnight open. I don't know. So either way, we hit it. Guarantee that much. We'll end on that note. I will see you guys Monday for a nice brand new spanking week. And if you continue your trading, be safe, be smart, and I will see you guys on the next one. Thanks for joining us. Hit that like and subscribe. And I'm sorry, I got sidetracked there. Trying to get this thing there. Yeah, so, side note, these first streams that you're seeing, I'd say give or take the first 70, 80, 100 videos you see, they're going to be pretty rough. So, I mean, this is the beginning, but I'm trying to get better. I'm open to advice. I'm researching. I'm getting better. But either way, I appreciate you checking me out. If you join me, I appreciate you joining me. If you want to travel the journey and travel the path that we're taking, I'm more than happy to trade alongside you. So with that being said, I will see you guys next week. Have a safe and happy weekend, and see you on Monday. Peace.